Hey guys, my name is Luke Jernigan. As you can probably tell from the name above the link I posted, everyone seemed to be doing videos on cultures that were visible to see and based on geographical locations, so I wanted to do something a little different. I chose to do my first presentation on a culture that I'm fairly familiar with, and is more of an ideological culture than a location or a heritage. I was thinking of doing just Republican culture because I was more familiar with that, and then I thought of doing democratic culture because being exposed to one side, you kind of have to research the other side to figure out what's actually going on. Then I thought of talking about libertarian culture because it's a different view on it all, but the instructions said to organize your material around three main points, so I just figured I would cover all three in a little bit of detail. Mainly discussing the origin of politics and where the schism sort of began, as well as what each side believes today and what sort of culture that's created in the political sphere. So starting off, we have the Democratic Party, which was founded in 1824 by Andrew Jackson, who built it on the belief that elitism was wrong and that the majority of people deserved to be happy and not just the minority of powerful people. So it was founded on this sort of altruistic belief that you couldn't make everybody happy, but you would settle for making the most amount of people happy. It just so turned out, at that time, though, that a good amount of people were slaveholders, so obviously if you want to fight, you have to be in opposition to your opponent. So the Republican Party, founded in 1854, was founded basically in opposition to the Democratic Party, and founded on the idea that slavery was wrong. They won the presidency in 1854, and in 1860, they got Abraham Lincoln into office just as the Civil War broke out. After the North won the war, the Republican Party backhanded the Southern Democrats with the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, which pretty much gave African American people freedom, citizenry, and the right to vote. Both of these parties had their share of risings to power, falling outs, good presidents, good policies, bad policies, all the way up until the Libertarian Party was founded in 1971 by David Nolan. This party was founded on the ideals of personal freedom, individual rights, non-interventionism, peace, and free trade. Fast forwarding to modern time, the Democratic Party still holds standards that value the majority, like supporting working families. Since the majority of people work, their 2016 platform ran on the basis that they would, quote, make sure that the United States finally enacts national paid family and medical leave by passing a Family and Medical Leave Act that would provide all workers at least 12 weeks of paid leave to care for a new child or address a personal or family member's serious health issue. We will fight to allow workers the right to earn at least 7 days of paid sick leave. We will also encourage employees to provide paid vacation, end quote. Which sounds good to employees, which seems to be the majority of people, so based on this small occurrence, I believe they have held true to the fundamental ideals of their party. For Republicans, I chose to look up the same issue on their 2016 platform, but when I was searching for their policy on work leave, the closest thing I could get was, quote, their project labor agreements discriminate against the overwhelming majority of workers by barring them from jobs on taxpayer-funded projects. Their patronizing and controlling approach leaves workers in a form of peonage to the NLRB. We intend to restore fairness and common sense to that agency, end quote. So the Republican Party, in a way, has just stuck to its roots in the sense that it's still alive only to oppose the Democratic Party. And this is a great segment into what type of culture that politics has created, but I still want to get to the libertarian views on this same sort of workplace issue. So libertarians hold that, quote, the only proper role of government in the economic realm is to protect property rights, adjudicate disputes, and provide a legal framework in which voluntary trade is protected. All efforts by government to redistribute wealth or to control or manage trade are improper in a free society. When asked about this similar issue of making money in the workplace, the Libertarian Party has not changed much either, in the sense that they stick to their guns in terms of being for freedom and liberty, hence in the name. This leads me to my conclusion on all accounts that this political culture in general is a culture of moral high ground. It has turned into a moral capture the hill per se. Everyone wants to be right, and they want everyone else to see that they are right, and they want everyone else to join them in being right. This created a horn and halo effect culture. When someone is Republican, hardcore Republican, they say that all Republicans' ideals are correct. All Republicans do the right things. Donald Trump is a Republican, so I will vote for him. I don't care what he says about women or what he's done. Your side is evil. Your side has horns. I will never succumb to your side. The same thing happens with Democrats. Hardened Democrats will say Democratic ideals are correct. If you're a Democrat, I will vote for you. Hillary Clinton is a Democrat, so I will vote for her. I don't care what her emails say, or if she's broken the law. Your side is evil, your side has horns, I will never succumb to your side. Now the Libertarians seem to do this with a little more tact. They don't have a 200-year history of verbal fistfights that they haven't gotten over. And so they stand on the side and say, we're for freedom. We want liberty and peace and free trade. When in reality, they're just trying to throw in as many positive-sounding ideals as they can so they can get voters to their party. The political culture has become so polarized that anything the other side does is obviously evil. For those of you who don't know, there has been a recent controversy over families being separated at the border when they are arrested for crossing illegally. Democrats immediately jumped in and said, Donald Trump is ripping away children from their parents. He is just like Hitler. This is a Nazi sort of action. And Republicans then go back on the attack and say the news organizations are just lying about this. Democrats don't care about the truth. They just want to put children in jail. And neither side will work to get on a compromise because whatever the other side proposes is obviously just evil. The conclusion I have come to is that political culture is an engine fueled by emotionally destroying your opponents because you take a moral high ground and proceed to Spartan kick everyone else who doesn't agree with you off the cliff. It's really just sad.